By the end of this course, you will have a complete understanding on how Godot works and how the Gdscript works. Thank you for watching. I will be seeing you in the course. Welcome back, everybody. Cryptic coding here, and in this video you'll be learning how to create your first script. So what you will have is you'll go over here into the file system menu. You'll right click, new folder. Let's write scripts, and in the scripts folder double click and right click. And as you can see, there's a couple of options. You can start by creating a new script here, but I wouldn't recommend it. What we're going to do is create a new node. Now, if you don't have any experience in Godot as well, this can be a little bit tougher because we will cover the programming part, okay? So, yeah, you can find a lot of videos in my channel, so make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell if you don't want to miss a lot Godot content. I'll try my best, okay? So, in the test, as you can see, I created a new node here. Let's recreate the node. So, you'll have something that looks like this. You'll click on 2D scene, and this is the node 2D. So, you'll double click and say test. Now, let's go over here in the script panel. Click on this, click on new script, and we have the test.gd. We'll click on this button. We'll say inside the scripts folder, we'll say open, and as you can see, we have scripts test.gd. So I would say let's write practice.gd instead. So let's write practice. Yeah, great. So as you can see, this is what we'll be seeing in the first. So don't worry, it will be fine, okay? So let's learn some of the stuff. So if you used Python, to declare something in Python, you'll say x equals to 2, right? And you just print the x. Now, in Godot, you need to specify a data type. Before you even specify the data type, you need to say that what it is. It means it's a variable. So you have to say, of course, it's a variable, right? So you'll say var, and then the name of the variable. So say it's a name of var, and then you'll say 2. All right. Now, if you want to be data specific, for example, a number, you have int. If you want to have strings, you have str, short form for string. I think it would work. I'm not sure about that. So hopefully it should work, right? No, it would not work, right? Okay, str. Hopefully. Okay. So it's the int for now. Now, if you want to define a string, you need to, you do not need to specify the type, all right? So that's my first mistake. So I make mistakes, all right? So the basic concept of variable is you declare it by declaring that it's a variable, the name of the variable, then the optional type. Now sometimes you actually don't need them because sometimes you need to hold more complicated values, so that's why you don't need them, all right? So you say equals to 2. Now, what's the reason here? Now, in the ready, now you don't need to worry about it right now. So just remember that this guy runs when the game starts, when the game is ready. All right, when the ready function runs when the game is ready. Just remember that. So I'll just remove the pass here. I'll say print and say name of var. All right, and we need to save the scene first. So we have saved the scene. Now let's run. And we'll just select text here, allow access, and in here, as you can see, 2 is got printed, so it's a little bit too small. How am I gonna make it bigger? I don't have any clue. All right, but you can see. I will make sure to zoom in here, so as you can see, 2 is printed. Now, what's the reason here? So, for example, if you want, say, multiple of this printed, okay? So I say my variable is, I would say comma and say name. This is the text formation, and I will just run. Hopefully my variable is 2, right? Just make it space. Now, what if I want to, what if I have like 2, 3 values? So like this, right? Now I want, I want to, so for example, like this. I'll just say I'm just a scrapple, right? Now I will just say like this to. All right. So my variable is 2. Now I want is this guy to be 3. Now what I have to do? I have to go through each and every single one of them and then change individually, right? So with variables, it is not the case. What I'm going to do is, as you can see in before, you saw like this, right? Hopefully, yeah, like this. Now what happens here, if I change the variable, for example, 2 to 3 and save and then run, and as you can see, my variable is 3 now. That's the power of variables. Variables can hold data as much a single data, or we'll learn about multiple data as well. For now, it's a single data. Is how we can store the value and use the value according to our needs. Now, what's the real world case scenario of a variable is? Well, you will need them a lot. For example, I can say a health variable. So this guy says that this is a health variable. For example, health equals to 3. Just remove that or just stay like that. Okay. So there's a lot of data types. We'll talk about them a little bit detail in the next portion of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next part. Now, in this section, we'll talk about variable data types. Okay, there's a lot more complex data types. There is a lot more things you need to do, a lot more stuff, but there is mainly 3 of them. So one is the string. What we did was we tried to create a type of string which is not required, and we have int, which means a whole number, and a float, which means a decimal number. So for now, you need to cover these stuff. Okay, you need to grasp these stuff. Now 3.5 number, you can convert the float number to an int number if you know parsing, so we'll talk about that as well, hopefully. Now this is how you create data types. Data types in Godot are really that can be infinite amount of type. Even you can even take data type and say it's a node 2D type. Yes, it's completely possible. So this is how you create a data type. So hopefully it's pretty simple to understand, right? So in the next video, I mean the next section, we'll talk about constants. All right, let's go. There's another variable type called true and false, which is a Boolean. So I can say var is alive equals to, and say the type is bool, and say equals to, like for example, true. A Boolean value cannot be more than true or false. You need this to sometimes check that if something happened already, I don't want to repeat it. So for example, it's alive. So you want to make sure that while I am alive, we are playing the game. But when something happens and we change that is alive, so say false, we're now dead, now we'll just stop the game. So that's why you need a Boolean. So hope you guys understood. In this video, we'll be talking about constants. So let's get started. Now, what is a constant and why we need it? So a constant is a variable that cannot be changed. For example, so our health and speed, for some reason, we can create a function or something that changes our health over time and the speed over time. But what happens is the name of the player can be changeable in GUI, but for now we cannot change it. For example, if you were to create that, what we'll do, we'll say constant. Const. Now, what this keyword does, it says, hey, whatever is in here is you cannot change. So I say cryptic. Now, what's the absolute meaning of this? So for example, if I say health plus, let's say health equals to health plus 1. So we added 1 health to the health function. So say print health. All right. So if I run this, run the method, so let me save this, and then if I hit run, as you can see, it outputs 4. All right. You can see over here. Now, if I were to do the same for, you can do the same for speed as well. But what happens is you cannot do the same for name of var. So if I say name of var equals to coding, and as you can see, it says parser can't assign a new value to a constant. So this is a constant. We cannot assign a new value to it. All right, simple as that. So this is basically the power of constant variables. Constant variables are needed because you need to make sure that in some part of the code nobody changes it. So it can be, if you don't, there's a part, there can be a situation where it can be a really big line of code and you change like everything and you're like, what the heck is happening? So sometimes you will need these constant variables to actually make sure that you don't accidentally change those values, because if you do, your program may crash or do a lot of crazy stuff. So this is why you need constant variables. So hopefully you understood the basics of this constant variable. So as you can see, the variable part is going like on and on and on, right? So yeah, in the next video, I don't know what I'm gonna say, but yeah, just keep on learning. In this video tutorial, in this part section, we'll be learning how to do complex variables. Let's get started. So what is a complex variable? Now, complex variables is just made up a random name, all right? So this is just a little bit more complex data type in a variable. Now, before I teach anything like that, let me teach what's known as what's a keyword called export. Okay, so what the heck export keyword does? Export just look, I will show you. It's better to show instead of just like say anything. So let's go and write first say var. I would say let's say my speed. Okay, just random crap. So now its speed is equals to 10. Now, what if I want to change my speed's value from outside? So what I will have is just click on this. There will be a couple of crap, and then I'm gonna change it. So it's much more easier to change values and test. Okay, how am I gonna do that? So this is where export comes in. So you will write export. Now export in my speed, as you can see, it's fine. But if you want to get into what type of data exactly I want, what you will have to do, instead of writing int like this, what you're gonna do is just say open and close brackets and write that name of that thing. So that's how you take that part, as you can see. Now, if I save this, this is how the special type it will have. Now, if it's a save, and as you can see, there is a my speed. So now I can say 30. Now, let's go ahead and print it out, what happens. So I say print my speed. And now go back to the test. I say, it was 10, right? Now let's complete that to like 40 and run, and boom. And 40 comes up. Not the 10 here does not pops up, right? So what I recommend is you do not add any values. If you want a default value, that's fine, with like 10, like minimum of 10 is required or something, you can do that. But I recommend you just like leave it like that and then save. That makes much more sense, right? Just say like 80 and save, run, and boom, you got 80. This is what export means, right? This is the first part. Now, in the next part, we'll just start the learning, okay? In this video, we'll be learning about complex variables. So without further ado, let's get straight to this. So what is a complex variable anyways? A complex variable is just a data type that is not in the this is more of a complex data type. So anything that is a node, a screen, a whatever, anything that is not normal is complex, right? So there would be multiple complex data types, and there will be multiple stuff. Now there can be we'll look at vectors in the next couple of videos. We'll learn about lists and stuff, list and dictionaries and stuff. But for now, let's look at some of the complex variables that is really useful to know. Now, in the previous videos, previous sections, I showed you how you guys can use those export keywords to actually know what the heck is going on, right? So I can change and manipulate those values. But let's get started. Now, to get this, first, as you can see in here, I created another sprite, and I attached a icon PNG. Hopefully I showed you before, but if you don't, just add here, click on plus, and then change those scraps here. So how am I gonna get this node? First, what you're gonna do is just say onReady. Now, why onReady? Because when you want to get the node, we want to get that when those things even started here. Because what happens, for example, if this guy is using the sprite speed, for example, sprite's health or whatever, so that can mess up. So that's why this thing runs next, but this thing runs absolute first when the game even like we clicked on play and everything is like processing. That's why you need to make sure that onReady is there. So we'll say onReady, then space, then say var, and let's see, sprite node equals to get node. Now the get node function gets the node pretty cool, right? So sprite node, and we are getting the node. Now if I say print sprite node and just run this, hopefully I don't say sprite pops up. Now you can manipulate stuff, right? Dot, and there's a lot of different functions to choose from. So say get has a lot of crap. So I can say what is the most important. So I can say get parent, right? Now if I run this, hopefully Node2D, as you can see, Node2D pops up because this guy's parent is test, right? Sprite's parent is test. There's a lot of things you can do. Literally infinite possibilities, but yeah, this is how you get those stuff, and yeah. So this is the basics of complex. In the next video, what we'll be learning is called preload. Okay, so yeah, till then, take care. Welcome back. In this section, I'm going to show you how to use the preload. Okay, so let's get started. What the heck is preload anyways? So hopefully you guys know what's known as a scene. Now, what the heck is a scene if you don't know, right? So a scene is basically this. This is the scene, right? A scene consists of multiple nodes. Now, nodes are, it's like a module. It has like different behaviors. You can change those behaviors, and they work together, right? So this is what's known as a node, right? So nodes create scenes. A scene is multiple of those nodes. Think of it like a recipe. So you have the ingredients. These ingredients are the nodes, and what creates at the end, it's a scene. This is basically the simplest example of a scene, right? So why do I need this? Now, scene can be multiple types, but for now, let's look at two types. First is the normal scene. Like we create the level, which I did in the back in my, the RPG series, which sucked hard. Now, this is not the great way to do it. What you do is you create multiple of the sub nodes, like for example, flare, tree, the ground stuff. Then you just add a new scene, so let's say world 1, and then you add those multiple scenes together. What happens is you can change it as much as you like. You can change one type. For example, I change the player's speed. All of the other scenes will change accordingly. Now I know it's kind of complicated, but hang there with me, right? Basic stuff. So if you don't know Godot, it can be a little hard. I told you that, right? So let's go create a simplistic scene, not simplistic, simplistic. I don't know. So let's go ahead, simplistic scene. So let's go to create. Let's go create a new, you click on this plus button and let's go ahead and say other node. Let's write kinematic body. Let's go for simplistic. Now, right. All right, so just pop in the texture as before, and then let's write player. Now this guy is our player. This is not our player, just testing, right? So this is a scene. Now how am I gonna add the scene here? So you'll just click on this button and then say this is the player. Now what happens is if I go ahead and change, for example, the visibility and then change like this and save, and boom, as you can see, it's changed. So I can like duplicate the Control C, Control V. God. So Control D, yeah, Control D, Control D. Now, as you can see, these are the stuff. Now, if I go ahead and change it back to normal and then save, and boom, as you can see, it's changed. This is the power of scenes, right? Hopefully you understood what is a goddamn scene, right? Now, how am I gonna include a scene so I can change the scene's particular value, right? This is basically what this section is. I know it's pretty big, but this is what you need to know. So you need onReady? I think you need. So onReady var, and then let's say sprite. The sprite node will not work because there is no sprite here. This is only sprite scene. So I'm just gonna remove these things. So sprite scene equals to, we'll say preload, and if I say, as you can see, there's a couple of things pop up. So I can say sprite, what? Where is the sprite scene? Test.tscn comes up. Oh, there you go. Player.tscn. There we go. We got the player. And this is a reference, right? This is a reference. And I think I'm still confused. See, I know I have a lot of things to learn of this crap. Sprite scene dot get name. Let's just run this and see what happens, if that will work or what. So as you can see, it's a packed scene. You can instance that scene as well. All right. So as you can see, this is a preload, right? Preloading works like charm, but preloading is not enough. This is a complex type of variable that what we are talking about. All right. There is a lot more to cover. So hopefully you're not bored with the complex variables. We'll go into in-depth as much as possible, because I know there's a lot of things that I don't know about. But thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's kind of getting boring because it's all our variables and stuff. But yeah. Thank you and thank you. Welcome back, everybody. In this section, you guys will know how to use vectors. Remember, vector is the single most important thing in any game engine programming, because this is how you move. This is how you do a lot of calculations. This is how you do stuff. Okay. So if you don't know vector math, you need to. Okay. So just pay attention in your stupid math class. I know that. I hate math. Okay. I can't bear it. But I need to learn this thing, and especially trigonometry is there. So if you are really good with it, you will have really fun time doing a lot of calculations. So anyway, let's start by creating a vector. A vector is a variable that has an x and a y axis. Okay, so this is why it's important, because anything in a 2D space, for example this guy, remember that if I run this thing first, so this is a whole is a screen, right? Screen has a vector space in the middle. So if you look at this thing as 0, this thing is 0, and there's a y, and this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. So if I want to move right side, what I'm going to do, so this is how you do plus and you do minus here. Minus here, plus here. So if I want to go right, you do plus. So how am I going to do that? So first, let's go ahead and just get the vector, right? So what is this vector anyways? The vector is motion. So var motion. Before I even move, I'm going to explain 2-3 videos. I think 1-2 video about what the heck is a vector and how it's useful. So vector 2. Now, vector 2, there's vector 3 for x, y, and z axis because of, you guessed it, for 3D. Now, I'm planning on making a simple 3D game in Godot because I never actually used 3D, and I know it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm going to make it like a 3D series as much as possible. So go ahead and do that. So this is but for now this is only 2D stuff. So this is var motion equals to vector 2. Let's, instead of motion, let's say practice for some reason, because this will be practice stuff. So of course func ready pass, and let's write print practice. And if I run this thing, nothing happens, and this thing got printed 0 0. Now let's go ahead and check if I add some values to it. So if I say, let's go ahead and say x equals to practice.x plus 2. I mean 4, sorry. So if I run this thing, it will not work. Okay, I got it. You need to do it like this and then write practice, right? Should be fine. If I run this thing, as you can see, it says 4 and 0. This is how you can move, but it didn't move because I didn't specify which vector to use to move. So this is how you add, minus, you do different calculations and stuff. What I'm gonna do is just simply, I'm gonna say vector in Gdscript. Simply, I want you to use documentation as much as possible, right? So there is some complex equation stuff. As you can see, you can change the position. This property is actually a vector 2. It requires a vector 2. So yeah, you can actually define this vector 2. There's actually 3 ways to define exactly the same vector, which is 0 0. You can say vector 2 dot 0, or you can say vector 2 0 0, or you can just gonna say blank. This is the same thing, same stuff. And there is another, if it's a vector 2 dot, and there is a lot of stuff like say 1. Now 1, there's left, right. This is really important for movement. Okay, so this is vector 2 to 1. If I run this thing, and it should have 5 1, 5 for 4 plus 1, and 1 for the x-axis, y-axis. I mean, this is the basic stuff, but it is super complicated in here for some goddamn reason. And var c equals 2.5 3.6 times 4, and there's a multiplication as well. So I can say 0 2.0, and I can say practice.x equals to practice.x multiply by 4, and I can just gonna write this thing, and it's 0 because 0 times anything is of course 0. I'm an idiot. 1 times 1, and just gonna run this. It should be 4 and 1. Why, you may ask? Because I just changed the x-axis, not the y. Same equivalent goes for the y as well. So this is how the basic vector math work, and we'll be using vectors a lot, so you need to get your grasp on it. I recommend you use, as you can see, there's a lot of velocity stuff we need to do, and there's a lot of calculations we need to do to get some positions and crap. Okay, I know it's really complicated to say, but it's not that complicated. Hopefully you understood a lot of stuff. I recommend you take a simple vector understanding. You watch a lot of videos about vectors, so like this is really important. Hopefully you understood, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about how to use the if statement. So you created your goddamn variables. It's time to use those goddamn variables to a proper use case. So let's get started. First, what we will do is we'll use these variables into some of the usages. So for example, is alive. Now this is the simplest type of variables. It only has is the Boolean. Boolean means it can be true or false. So what we have to do is say if. If you want to check a condition, you say if, and then we write the condition. So condition means is alive to true, right? So if we are alive, then we'll start the game, or then we will do the other stuff. But if you're dead, we need to restart the goddamn game, right? So is alive. Now is alive to true. This is a way of writing, and then say print I am alive. All right. So this is illusion. Now there's a shorthand. What it does, what is alive does. So what if you write is alive here, what it returns is the value, so true. So what we'll say is true, right? So it would say if true equals to true, then I'm alive. This is how everything works. Every single variable works. That's how everything a variable works. So what is the shorthand? So in if statements, the if statement can handle these. If true, then print. So now you understood. If I write is alive, it means if true, print the alive. Simplistic shorthand. All right. So we say I am alive. Now if I save and then run. So let's run this crap. So I will say I am alive. Now the packed theme is over here. Just remove this. Now there's a nitty-gritty stuff is alive. Now there's a lot of code, so there's another called else if. So for example, is alive is to false. What I'm gonna do? At the end we write else. So what I'm gonna do? I'll say else. So anything except true, I am dead. So run this. If it's true, fine. If it's not, say I'm dead. So if I write false, now I want you to answer this. So what part of the code will run? I cannot say for some reason, but what part of the code will run? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and if you said I am dead, you are correct. So let's go here. And then see I am dead prints 2 times for the goddamn reason. Oh, I don't know what the heck I did. So I am dead. Yeah. I would say true. And then say I am alive. I am alive. So as you can see, this is how you start. This is how the basic fundamentals of this. So let's use another statement. For example, let's use the int, the health. So there's multiple operators you can use. For example, if health is greater than, let's say less than or equals to 3, it means if health is less than, 3, or As you can see, we can use multiple statements, or if health is equals to 3. Either of those will run. So the shorthand of writing is this guy. So less than equal is if health is less than equals to 3, then we can say print max health. So max health. Now we can say, so if it's not max health, so for example, if this is 2, how am I going to say? Elif. In Python, it's also elif. So if you're from Python, you'll be right at home. Right at home. So we'll say if it say 3 less than or equal less than 3. So now I have a question for you. How many of these statements will run? Health, normal. Right? How many of these statements will run? So health is 3. Let's just cut this up and paste it here so I can see it. So health is 3. Health is 3, and if health is less than 3, max health, and if health is less than 3, print health normal. So let's see what happens. Let's run this. And max health got printed. Because what happens is, if health is less than 3, max health, what it does, it just stops there. It will not run if health is less than 3, then health normal. What it would do, it just run this and boom, you are there's like a quit command or something like that runs here, right? This is how you can understand. This is how programming works. It's just a one by line, okay? Step by step. Okay, so this is how you do that. Now, but the nitty-gritty stuff comes when we do, input. When you do input handling, then comes the nitty-gritty stuff, and you can do tons of different stuff with it. This is the basics of how everything works, and hopefully understood how these guys work. Now, I explained the else. So if health is true, it will run. Then if it's true, we'll just stop there. It will not check for elif. And if it doesn't run, for example, let's use the cryptic here. So if name of var is cryptic, then I would say print hello cryptic. I'm just like streaming right now. So elif name of a var equals to like coding, then print hello coding. What the heck? There can be multiple of these elif statements, and if these are not true, I would say, what the heck are you? Oh god, are you? What the heck are you? So now my question is, what it would run. The name of var is cryptic, and let's see what happens. Hello cryptic. Now if I write coding and write it over here, hello coding, and hello coding comes from here. Now if I don't write anything like cryptic coding, I'd say subscriber. I shouldn't say that. Random. And what the heck are you? So this is how the if statements work. I know it's a pretty long video. How long it is? Oh, it's say about 8 minutes long. I know. It's pretty long. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next section. Welcome back, everyone. In this section, you guys will understand dictionaries. So a dictionary is like a list, which we learned in the previous section, but it's a little bit different because instead of values, we use keys. keys. Okay, we can use keys and values and stuff. So it has a key and a value. So let's give it an example. For example, I can say variable person equals to, and you start a dictionary by a second bracket, not the third bracket. So next you give it a key. For example, I can say name and a colon and another. Remember that we need second brackets. Yes, second brackets, and I can say name cryptic. I can say let's go for gender and say male. And if I function underscore ready print, oh god, print person, and if I run this, and as you can see it says gender male, name cryptic. For some reason it just popped up. So now if I want to get name, just as before, if I want to get name, instead of the 0 or something, it's much more easy. You just write name, literally write name, and then you just say cryptic. Yay. So you can have a person, you can have anything, any existing thing, and same, you can change those by just simply taking it and boom and saying hey coding, and then printing person's name. And then running it. Coding. It's so simple that I don't know what to say about it all, right? So as you can see in the official documentation, which I reference to every single time, so go ahead and god dang read it. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff. Addition, you can use modification, you can removal, and yeah, you can actually add more stuff. For example, I can say what hobby, yeah, person, and I can say hobby, I don't know, maybe making YouTube videos. That's my hobby. Maybe YouTube videos. Wow. Okay, so person hobby. Now as you can see, we can add this hobby. Now I can say person hobby. Now as you can see in the official one, in the previous one, we don't have hobby. Now we added hobby. Now if I run this, hopefully, as you can see, making YouTube reports up. Now if I just run just person, you know what will pop up? It would say gender male, hobby making video videos, name coding, because of that. This is how you can do this. Now you can use the erase. As you can see in the official documentation, it says erase, just removal. Hopefully I need to write it down, right? So person dot erase, and as you can see, it takes a key. Remember, these are keys, these are values. So if I want to remove my gender, and I need to and I print person, as you can see, hobby says making YouTube videos and name says coding, and there is no gender. This is how you can easily do stuff. And yeah, and as you can see, you can do like this as well instead of doing like this. So this is I'm gonna print this. I'm gonna copy this crap because I don't want to do that over and over and over and over again. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and then I'm just gonna paste this, and as you can see, same. Oh, I didn't specify the age here. Same. You can do multiple different stuff, and hopefully, and you can use d.name and d.age instead of dot-based indexing techniques. And if you want to do like that, you can do that. So let's just print d.name, and just gonna write, and as you can see, John pops up. This is the basic stuff, basic stuff about how your dictionaries work. And the real scenario, you will be using dictionaries, I don't know, maybe when you are doing the inventory stuff, you will use dictionaries a lot, I think. And also you will be using lists when it comes to, I don't know, saving, loading different stuff of data, and then doing with it. This is the how it should be, right? So yeah, this is how you can use easily use dictionaries. So hopefully you understood it, and I will see you in the next video. I made the thing a not. Welcome back, everybody. Cryptic here, and in this section I'm going to show you how to access dictionaries values and keys. So in the previous episodes you understood how to use those dictionaries and how to get the values format. But if you want to get every single value in a dictionary, you need to, of course, you need to use the for loop. So how am I going to do that? First, we need to go through every key. Remember that. I need to get its value. So to get value, we just specify the key, right? So we say print person and underscore key, the key. Now this is what it gets, the cryptic, right? But the key, for we will go through every single key. That's what the for loop will do. What for loop will do is go through every single key and then put its value. Sounds simple? It is. So let's go ahead and do. So we'll go through every single value. So I'm going to write for key in person. So every key in person, print key, comma, and let's use this symbol. And then we will put, hopefully you got it, person. Now, every key, we'll go through every key. So first one, it will be name. So there's the name, and then the key will be name. So this will be name, and then the person underscore name, right? This is basically how it's gonna work. Name, it means it will return cryptic. So this is how you can access values and keys from a dictionary. So if I run this, and as you can see, name, cryptic, gender equal to male. So this is how you easily access values or key elements from dictionaries. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next part. So far, we saw how to store values in just one value in a variable. What if we want to hold multiple values? That's where lists come in. Okay, so the lists are basically a variable that can hold multiple values. So instead of, for example, I can say name of var, I can say, let's create a variable called names, and I will gonna be saying, and the list is basically, to start a list, you put down two third brackets, and then inside of it you write those values. Now let's say I can say cryptic, I can say subscribers. So if you're not in this category, you should. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will say viewers. Okay, so these are the names, or yeah, just simple names. Okay, now if I just print out names, so I say print and names, and if I go ahead and just gonna delete all of that, and then just go ahead and run. In here, as you can see, a cryptic, subscribers, and viewers pop up. Now, is there any goddamn way to actually zoom the hell in? Please zoom the heck in, because if you don't, I'm just dead. All right, so as you can see, we have var names equals to whatever. Now, how am I going to access each of these? So it's right here. If I just run this up, it prints like this. Now, how am I going to get, for example, in a particular value? Now, to get there, what you have to do is just write, let's write print another time, and then let's write names. And in the third bracket, you have to print, you have to give the index. Now, what the heck is the index? Now, index is a position. Index is basically position of each element. So everything separated by comma is a element. So this is the element, this is the element, and this is the element. Okay, so to understand, this guy starts with 0, and this one is 1 and this one is 2. This is what indexing basically means. Indexing means the position. So if I want to get cryptic, what I'm going to do is just write 0 here. So this is the 0th index. So it starts with 0. So if I save and then run, and as you can see, it runs print names, which is this guy, and print names index of 0, it prints cryptic. This is how you can get all of the individual of them. Now, how am I going to get all of them? Right? There it comes. That's why you need what's known as loops. But we will talk about loops a little bit later, right? So let's just copy all of this and then just paste right here. And let me just delete all of this crap because I don't need any of them. So I can check. Of course, this thing is a value. It returns. So what it returns? It returns cryptic. So it's just like print cryptic. Exactly the same. So if I can write this, if you remember from the previous videos, I can write this because it returns cryptic. So that's how these names work. Says you can check these types of as well. So let's check, for example, I can check if names 0 is cryptic, then name is cryptic. And if I run this crap, but before that, just gonna comment these things out and then run. And as you can see, name is cryptic pops up because it runs cryptic. Okay, hopefully you understood what the heck is going on over here. So you can do a lot of different things. So for example, if I write -1, it means the last one. All right, so if I write this, it would probably fails. Probably no, it would fail. So I'm gonna just run a write print. I'm gonna write names index of -1. -1 will write the last part. So if you want to get the last object, you will write -1. So I'm gonna just run, and hopefully viewers pop in. So this is how you can get the first one and the last one. Now, why am I'm gonna use -1? You can also write 0, 1, 2. You can also write 2. But if you have like a lot of lists and you just care about the last one, of course you're gonna use -1. Hopefully you are getting where am I getting, okay? This is how you can use the lists. Now, the main cases of lists are like, for example, you want to hold names of characters and then you're going to use those characters later on and you can append those values, okay? So in the next video, next section, we will look at how you guys can append and remove values from lists, okay? So let's go. Welcome back, everyone. In this section, we'll know how to add values to already created lists. Okay, so let's get straight to the session. Now, we already have a list right here, right now. And if I want to add, for example, change this guy. So we know to get this thing, we write print, let's say we write names index of 0, right? And this is what do you get. So names index of 0. So for example, if I want to change this, I will say simply equals to coding. Now if I write print names 0, hopefully like that, if I run this, as you can see, instead of cryptic, coding pops up. Oh god, I just want to make this thing bigger, but I don't know how. Whatever. So this is how you guys can understand here. So same for subscribers. So you can change those subscribers. Now another list called, let's look at another list called let's go ahead and say scores, and let's just print up some values 20 20 20, right? And for another scores, simple, and so for 20 20 and 20. And let's add these two values. So what will happen, I'm going to explain later. But if you want to add these two arrays, remember these are lists. These are lists. Okay, so in other programming languages it says arrays, lists. It's basically the goddamn same thing. Okay, it just makes you confused, I know that. So let's just change this value to just two thingy. Let's go for, yeah. And let's go ahead and print all of this. Let's go ahead and add these two arrays or lists. Let's go ahead. So let's write print score plus another score. So scores plus another score. Save and then run. So as you can see, what prints right now is 20, 20, 20, 45, 78, 49. So if you thought that this thing will plus it with this thing, so it will be like, I don't know how, 5, 6, 65 or something like that. 20 plus 45 is 65, whatever. So if you thought like that, it is wrong. This is how you add these two arrays together. So this is how you add arrays. Same, I think you can just only add arrays. So let's go ahead and look at the documentation and I will explain. So go ahead and open up this link right here. You just write array and you can find one. So if you look at it closely here, the array var array looks like this, and as you can see, it's got added, and as you can see, it says 1, 2, 3. So you do not need same values. I can say Cryptic, Cryptico, and my subscribers, because I love them. So go ahead and rerun this thing, and as you can see, it prints like this. You can easily add two arrays together. Now let's see how I am gonna change things. So there is a lot of you can use the count method to actually know how much is there, and the minimum and maximum. Oh my god. So there's a lot of stuff. I recommend you read all of this. I know it's hard, but yeah. Now another cool thing you can have is this line right here. So you can check for if something is in something, right? So I can say that there's Cryptic subscribers and viewers. Let's just change this to coding, right? And over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say if Cryptic in names, print voila, and save. And then if I run, hopefully voila gets printed. Why? Because this thing called if Cryptic in names. If Cryptic in names, it makes a really nice sense if you're reading this. So if Cryptic is in names, print this. So this is a really useful I don't know, keyword in. This is really useful. So let's look at the documentation. I know it can be a little bit tough and say, ooh, 10, 11, string 1, 10, 11, 2s, 1, 2, 10, 11, 1, 10, 11, 2. Okay, sort alphabetical order. Okay, so you can use a sort function to do this in alphabetical order. And there's a lot of stuff. But for now, this is what you need to know. This is really useful. If you're using this is really useful. Okay, so this is the basic concepts of strings. Wow. Basic concepts of arrays. And in the next video, we'll be talking about for loops and how to use them. In the previous video, we learned how to use the lists. In this section, you will know how you can append the list whenever you need it, how you guys can remove the list whenever you need it. So let's create another thing called, let's say, a variable, say scores, or I don't know, yeah, scores. I don't have anything. So if you want to say blank right here, as you can see, you can leave it blank. Now I want to add something, so I'm gonna say func ready. So what I'm gonna do is just a scores dot, and there's a lot of things, You don't need to know all of them, but I do recommend you actually read about all of this and how the heck it works. I don't know everything, but I know some of those things. So for example, append means adding some value. So if I say 5 and then I say print and say scores, if I run this game right now, as you can see, 5 in here will be printed. Let's write more. So scores dot append 78, and then boom, 578. This is how you append. Now in the documentation, you have is pop front, and this is the stuff. And then let's see what pop front does. And yeah, so let's see scores dot, because I'm still learning. Okay, pop front, and let's go ahead, and if I remember correctly, it would put, what it does is popping. Popping means just destroying. It means deleting the front. So the front means 578. The front is 5. So it would remove 5, and we have 78 as our answer. This is how, if you're hearing any barking sound, I'm sorry about that, okay? Okay. Let's go ahead and check pop front, pop back. It would just do the same, but scroll says pop back. Now we only have front and back. If I have a middle point, let's say scores.append 45. Okay, just say front and just say back end. And I want you to understand this, that what would be the output. If I run this thing, and I think the 45 got printed because the pop front means popping, removing this 5, just removing like that, and pop back means popping the sky. Boom. And then we only have 45 left, so it would do that. It would output 45. This is how it works. All right, this is so simple. Now if you want to remove a particular thing, like for example in the middle, so scores, and I forgot what the heck it would do. I think just pop. Oh no, popping won't work. And I think the erase function and 0. And let's see what happens. Yeah, let's go ahead and just check 1. By the way, this is index and 45. All right, let's say 45 and say run this. And as you can see, okay, erase takes a value. I think it would only, this is how it works, right? I just forgot about that, all right? Actually, I didn't knew that. So erase takes a value and removes it, and popping, I think pop should have like an individual function, right? Come on. And clear just clears everything, duplicates, and another good thing is has, let's say 45. All right, now I would say print this. Let's see if it has. Now I want you to predict what will happen. I don't know why I cannot speak today. So I want you to predict what will happen. So if I run this, it would print true. Why? Because of course it 45 got left, and if it has 1, it would say yep. And this is a really useful function, and it would save you ton of time. All right. So this is how you can understand the scores and understand the append function, has function, and pop front, pop back functions. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Welcome back, everyone. And in this section, you guys will know how to use loops in your lists or arrays. So let's get started. Now, why I need loops? Remember that this is huge. This is so huge. What if I want to get all of its value? You cannot do, let's say, names 0, print names. This is the approach you can have, but let's just copy this, paste this crap, and this is fine, right? If I run this, Cryptic viewers, what's the deal here? Why do I need a goddamn loop to write that? Now, what if I want to add another one? So it's like dynamic. It's like it can change while the program. You need to come here and then go ahead and take this up, copy this thing, and then take it up, and then say 3. So it's not good. Not good. Lol. Okay, so I don't know what to say. Yeah. This is a really good self-promotion technique. So, yeah, it runs really, really nicely, right? So this is why you need loops. Now, there's 2 types of loops. Number 1 type of loop is for loop. Another type of loop is while loop. Now, for some goddamn reason, while loop is not working. I tried to make like 2 videos, but it didn't work. Sorry, 1 video. It didn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the for loop. So for loop is the most important loop. You need it pretty much. I don't know. If you want to repeat something, you need this thing. So you start by writing the word for. You hit a space and then you create a name. This can be this. Or the meaningful name is your naming convention for this lists or arrays should be plural. All right, so it's names. So what I'm gonna do is instead of names, you need a singular form. So I'm gonna say for name in names. Now this makes 1,000 times sense instead of right, 1,000 times more sense. Now if I say print name and if I run this, hopefully it will work. As you can see, Cryptic. Now if I add like another one, name, and right, as you can see, name pops up without any problem. So this is why you need loops. It's a goddamn loop. Okay. Another one is you can use a function called the range. So range creates a list. So I can say var, let's go ahead and, should I do it here? I should do it here. Var x equals to range, and you give it a number to start with, a number to end with. So let's go for 3. And if I print x, which is the ranged value, it would be 0, 1, 2. So as you can see, range just creates an array. So I can write 89, it would do the same, 6, and let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what if I want to get these values? You just use the for name in x. Now, it doesn't make sense, I know. So what I'm going to do is just say underscore. Oh, what? Do not work. For identified expected after 4. You cannot use this. For underscore x underscore x. Right? And if I run this thing and z 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is how the range function is really, really important. Remember that range function you will use I don't know how many times, but you need to use this. And this is how the basic concept of loop is. Now you can extend the loop, for example, for name in names. Now, as you can see, if the in keyword wasn't there, I have to write it this way. I will say if name is equals to, let's say, yeah, Cryptic. Then we know we're in the right game. Yay. Oh, okay. Yay. And let's just remove the pass. And so what it would do, it would go over here, go to the cryptic part, and it says, oh, the if name is cryptic. It would say yay. So it would just stop. But if I have this cryptic, for example, LOL, LOL, and cryptic, for example, here. Oh god, cryptic. Now what would do? It would say every single name for name, for every name in names. So for every name, so it says okay, it's lol. So name is lol, lol, lol. Wow, I cannot write the scrap. Lol, right? Sorry. Yeah. So it would say lol. So lol is in names. It's true, right? Lol is in names is true. So it would run over here. So if says if lol is equal to cryptic, of course it's not, right? So it would just repeat until it goes over here, which says for cryptic in names. Is it true? Yes, the cryptic in names is true, right? Then it would say cryptic. Right? It's cryptic is cryptic, of course, print yay. This is how it's done here. So every time you are thinking about this, thinking about the return type, right? Returning how it's done, how it's returned. This is how people, I don't think people actually teach like this. They're just like, okay, do this, do that, and done. So I'm gonna make sure you understand instead of just go ahead and copy. Now with this information, you can easily do a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So yeah, this is how the basics of this thing works. So hopefully you understood a lot of things. There was a lot of things maybe to say. So if I run this, yay. So it goes over here and says cryptic. If cryptic is names, cryptic, and yay. This is how it works, right? This is what's known as a loop. So hopefully you understood. I know it's how many times still. It's about 7 minutes long. Hopefully understood, and I will see you in the next section. I don't know what to teach in the next. Welcome back, everybody. Cryptic here, and welcome to another section of Gdscript tutorial series, video, whatever. The simple course, I mean. So let's go ahead and learn about functions. So remember, do not skip this part. This is one of the most important parts. If you skip it, you are dead. All right. So there's one of the built-in functions in Godot. So we already saw the ready. Now remember, as I can say, look at this comment. Now remember, what the heck is a comment? A comment is basically human readable code. I mean, it's not a code, it's just a line. So it just explains stuff, so we don't need to go there and say, hey, what the heck, that does. So compiler already ignores that part of line. All right. So the function ready, as you can see, function ready runs when the game starts. Function process runs every single frame. Yes, you heard that right. Every single frame. Now, a frame is basically like 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second. You know the deal, right? The more, the better. So every single frame it would run. So what happens? What happens is when we change different stuff in while the game is running. For example, the health got changed. You got hit by something like the enemy, and your health got changed. That happens in the health. That happens when the process function. Anything that change during the game. There's a lot of stuff we'll do in the game, right, when the game is running. So what we'll do input handling. Let's see what is the use cases. Input handling, whatever. There is health control or something. Then we have how many stuff there is. There's a lot of stuff I cannot see. Like, for example, mouse is in the thing. There is if there's kind of patrol, sometime AI, that's already in the process function. So there's tons of different stuff in process functions, and this is basically which we say a method, but I'm gonna just say function. I don't care. So this is a process. Now, how will you know that this is a built-in? That you got underscore. There's more built-in functions. For example, function physics process. Come on, man! I cannot write physics right now. Okay, I am gonna say pass. Oh, acha. Function physics process. Now, what the heck is this guy? Now, this guy is the physics control AI. I mean, the physics controlling whatever you want to call it. So, physics means anything that relates to the body, the movement, anything that related to movement goes over here, because what it does, it makes sure that runs. It forces it to run at a particular frame of second. Now, this process function doesn't force anything, but this guy forces. So the physics calculation is much more smoother in the physics process. This is what we need. Physics, right? So you'll do in the physics process. Now, yeah. Hopefully you understood some of the basic stuff. Now, I think there is another one, if I remember correctly. Init. Yeah. The init function just runs like on ready. You don't need to worry about init function. Just these two functions are the main functions, and what do you need the most. Now, these goes, they're like the inbuilt functions. Let's talk about user-defined functions. Now, what the heck is that? Now, there's a custom functions. Now, what functions actually are? They are a block of code, period. Block of code. So they can run from anywhere. For example, I can say function destroy spaceship. Something, if I create a spaceship game, which we did, and I can say pass, and I can say destroy spaceship node and run particle. So all the code goes here. I'm not going to code it, just a pseudocode to actually explain to you. Now, there can be multiple different reasons why our spaceship may be destroying. For example, remember this is like, it's something like 200 lines of code, right? 200 lines of code go there. What? Oh, okay, pass. The pass thing is really important. Now, there can be multiple ways to destroy a spaceship. For example, if the meteoroid crashed. So if I don't know, meteoroid hits you. If that's the case, destroy spaceship. Alright? Now, this is a pseudocode. It will make sense later. I mean, it should. And another reason for destroying spaceship. Let's think of it. If got hit by enemy spaceship, then destroy spaceship. Now, these are the real world examples. You will need them if you're coding them. Multiple reasons to destroy spaceship, right? These are the reasons why you have. So if you didn't have the this code, I mean this function, then what you have to do is just copy this, like 200 lines. Remember, 200 lines. You have to paste that goddamn things here. So there will be like 200 plus 200, it's 400 lines. But if you didn't, that there can be multiple different. Like for example, another one is health is below 1. Of course, I don't know what I'm saying. So it's 200 plus 200 plus 200 is 600 lines of code. But if you have its destroy spaceship function, you just call those functions like this. Same thing happens. Destroy spaceship, something like that, right? So spaceship, same. Now what you did is saved 400 lines of code. In programming, there is a thing called a dry method. Dry principle. There's some programming principles out there. So what that says is do not repeat yourself. Okay, so we are not repeating ourselves. We're reusing the code. So yeah, this is what I have to say. Now let's just say this spaceship destroyed. Okay, and let's write spaceship, and if I run this, what will happen is destroy. Remember, we are calling this method. This is how you define a method. You define a method by saying func destroy spaceship, open and close parenthesis, and a colon symbol, and you say print, and then whatever you want to say above it, and then change some values and stuff. So when on the ready, I can say create spaceship, and spaceship created. Now we can understand, hopefully, why I can. Now it creates much more user readability. When someone else sees your code and say, oh, this does this does this, and this is how it's done, right? Another thing that function is really, really important is parameters. We'll talk about them in the next part. Welcome back. In this video, we'll be learning about function parameters. Parameters are input to the function. So let's see example here. For example, let's create a simple function that multiplies two values. So say function multiply, and say, now remember, multiplication, addition, whatever doing, it takes at least two values, right? So when we run this, right, multiply, what happens is just calls this, right? So how am I gonna know what type of data, and if I want like a times 2, or what I'm saying, 2 times 2 or 2 times 4, how am I gonna do these things? Need two values to run, right? So that's why you need parameters. Now a parameter is the input to the function. For example, I can say, so it's a print, and let's write here. Now parameters goes over here, so say A and B. Now A and B, these two are the required things you need. So I can say 2 and 2. Now if I say A times B, now can you explain what will happen? Now what would be the output of this code? Let's write, and it says 4. Now if I want to change, for example, like 80 times 2 is 160. This is how you create. This is what parameters are. They are input to the function. They're required. Now parameters can be, you can set them by default, and you can give them a particular data type. Just like this, you can give a data type. So let's say I would say this is an int, and I would say this is an int. And it's a really, really, really good practice that if it's not returning anything, a return value, I'll explain a little bit later, but it is not, it's just printing, right? It's just not doing anything. It just run. We will talk about returning values. So it's a really, really good practice to use this code. Now, what this thing does, it says, hey, this is not returning anything, so just run the code as it is. You can just leave it like this, but it's recommended that you do that. Now, you hopefully understood what the heck is a parameter and why do we need it. I want you to create an addition function. This is your like a simple task or something. Add an addition function that takes 2 of these values and then just says, hey, this is A plus B is C or something. Like 2 plus 2 is 4, something like that, something simple like that. This is really, really important because in in game programming, there will be a lot of different functions and parameters you need to put in, and different stuff, and different works will be done there. So hopefully you are like kind of picking up what the heck is going on. So if you're comfortable writing Godot till this part, you did it a really good job. I'm really proud of you. Thank you for watching. Welcome back and welcome to another section. In this section, we will be talking about return value. So how to return that value. Remember, what's the difference between printing? What printing does is just takes this and then it says, and then it just writes it right there. Now returning, meaning giving up the value. So you cannot store the value somewhere. You cannot store the value in a variable or something that I'm going to return and then you reuse. So we talked about the dry rule, don't repeat yourself. So that rule says that you need to take much of information and reuse as much as information as possible. So what if I want to store this value somewhere and then later use it? Well, printing will not help. What printing does is it says, hey, just print this goddamn thing out, I'm out. Now, what returning says? It says, hey, just returning means, like, I will explain first. Return A times B. Now, what this does, it says, if I say 80 times 2, it's 160, right? It will, remember carefully. Oh, okay. Now, remember, this is a return type. If you don't have any return, you will say void. If you have a return, which is int, now we'll write int. Now we know, save, as you can see, the error got away, whatever. So 160. So what return means, listen closely. Return means it's just removing this line, and what is the output? 160. Period. That's what returning means. Nothing else. So if I say int x equals to 160, remember, if I can say variable x equals to 160, why can't I say multiply 82? Why? Because ultimately returning means removing all those lines like this. Compiler does exactly as they told and then says 160. So if I can do this, I can do this. That's the reason you can, in the returning, now I can use the x plus x. So for example, I can say print x plus x. It's 320. This is how returning is, and this is how returning will be. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next section. In this tutorial, in this section, I'm going to show you how you guys can use the signals. So if you skipped a lot of stuff, I request you to do not skip this part, because this is really important. Because if you skip this one, you'll have much more less knowledge, and this is Godot specific, okay? You will not find this in any other programming language. So I'm going to explain what is a signal. Now, in simple terms, signal is the communication between two scripts, okay? So if something happens, another one detects it that something has happened and acts accordingly. So if you look at in technical terms, if you know that what observer pattern means, this is exactly the same as that. So this is what's known as observer pattern in programming. So if you don't know it, don't worry about it. So how am I gonna go ahead and understand how am I gonna create a signal? So what I am gonna do is, as I can say, I already created a signal. I'm gonna just disconnect and just gonna stop all of this crap. I know if we just copy, I cannot do anything about that. So how to create a signal 101. So there's two types of signals. One is user defined and one is Godot defined. So it's inbuilt in Godot. So how am I gonna know which one is user defined and which one is Godot defined? So you'll click on the particular node. It can be any node, doesn't matter. So just click on this, and in here you'll see this inspector. Go to the node tab, and as you can see under this signals, you will have collision canvas item node. So this is how you can look at different stuff, and you just go ahead and click on, like if I see draw, click on connect, and you can connect to a particular node. Okay, this is how you can use Godot defined signals. Now we will be not going to be using that much these types. If you're using an area 2D, if you know what I'm talking about, you can easily use the user defined node. But for now, we'll be using sorry, I messed up. You can use the Godot defined node signal. I mean, wow, I cannot speak. It's Godot defined signal. You can use Godot defined signal as much as you like, just if you're using area 2D. Okay, area 2D is a node, but do not worry about that. Just go ahead and let's go ahead and learn it. So how am I going to create a signal? A signal consists of three parts. First, create. Second, call. And third, the actual thing happening. I would just say happening or thing happening. Okay, so create means we create the signal. So let us go ahead and create by saying signal and then the name of. So I will say is dead, or yeah, is dead, or I can say is alive. Also is dead. Okay, fine. Next, we call a signal. Now we call it depends on anything. Like for example, I can have like a pseudocode, if you understood. So if player is dead, then is, and now we need to call, right? So how you call? You call by emit signal and is dead. Simple, right? So this is a pseudocode, so it will not work. So I'll just write emit signal is dead. All right. Now the call part is done. Now the thing happening. Now we connect this signal to particular function. So when the signal is called, that particular function will be called. Now, if you wanna go ahead and connect the signal outside of the player hierarchy, like this thing, you can go ahead and go to the go where your world is, like you have like player, enemies and stuff. Just go ahead and click on the instance, not the actual thing, the instance. You can see the node and you can see player.gd. You click on connect and you can connect to world, your enemy, your thing. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this is how you create one, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and connect to itself. So our player is the observer and a receiver. Sorry, emitter and a receiver. There's two parts. So emitter and a receiver. So we emitting the signal and then we need to receive it. So to receive it, just go ahead and click on that. Go is dead, connect, and connect to itself. So as you can see, this is our receiver. Now I can say player is dead, and you can call your particles and stuff and then reload the scene and stuff if you want. But for me, I don't want any. So I'll just go ahead and copy that. And as you can see, there's a little icon here. You click on that and you can see which connection it is. You save that thing, and just go ahead and run. And as you can see, player is dead popped up because we said emit signal, player is dead. Now, this is the basic stuff. I would say receive. If I receive, okay. So this is how you create, this is what signals are. Now, this is really, really useful when you want to know what happened, and depending on that, you can change a particular thing. This is how you create signals. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell if you don't want to miss anything. Okay, in this section, it will be really easy. In this video, in this section, I'm going to show you how to use signal parameters. So what is a signal parameter? Just like a function parameter, signal parameter is a parameter. So you can pass in those values, and depending on the values, you can change stuff. So is that, for example, it has no signal, the parameter, signal parameter. So let's add them. To add them, you use the open and close first brackets, and then you give those values. So instead of is that, let's write area. Okay, should be easy. And then we say area means it takes width and height. There's no need for this. I cannot write height. So width and height. Next, we just need to emit the signal. So let's go ahead and emit it. Control space, and I would say area. Boom. Next, we need to receive this. So receive this, let's go to the main file, click on area, connect, and connect to itself for now. So on player width and height, we can give those values over here, right? You can give the values. If you look at the documentation here, it says that emit signaling means it takes my signal and then it takes values. So these are just variables. It can take any data type, so you can just pass in. So I can say width is like 10, and this is 10 as well, right? Next, we can just go ahead and print the width times height, and go ahead and run, As you can see, 100 got printed. Yeah, 100 got printed. This is how you use signal parameters. So hope you guys understood stuff. If you guys want to learn more, make sure you continue watching this, so you can get a lot of content for free. This is purely free. So yeah.